Hello YouTube, how are you? This is another service call, no heat call, or let me say not enough heat service call. So this is January the 6th, 2022, and beautiful Chicago, 16 degrees outside. So this is the apartment right here to my left. Let's see what's going on. So this is the apartment thermostat. The actual temperature in the room right now in this apartment is 65. So let's see. And it's calling for 74. And it says that the heat is on, but it's not keeping up. So let's go to the boiler downstairs to see what's going on. So before we go downstairs to the boiler room, I check the doors, the windows, the storm windows, making sure that everything is closed. All the windows here are new. They're fairly new and they're closed. And when I close the door, there's not a draft. There's no cold there. So the windows, the doors are not to blame either. So, okay, now let's go downstairs to see what's going on. So this is my boiler room. 500,000 BTUs, 12 apartments, 6 in the first floor and 6 in the second floor. I have a pump for the boiler, a pump for the first floor, and a pump for the second floor. So this is my zone valve for that apartment. This is a takeoff valve, a gold 3 terminals. It has a 1, 2, 3 on top. And see, this is the lever here. It's going up and down very easy. That means it's calling for heat, and that means that the valve is working fine. I'm gonna check how many volts, if there's power to the head, which it should. And if you see here, it has 24, 25, 26 volts. So the head is not to be blamed. So let's look for something else. Okay, so I'm here. I have 3 pumps, and this is my pump for my first floor. And okay, so this is cold or not hot. Oops, this is hot. This is very hot, and this is warm. So something's wrong with this pump. Some water going on here, some leakage, and you see here shavings from the coupler. So something's going on there. It's not pumping. So maybe the impeller inside or the bearing assembly. So let's check for amperage to see what's going on. So the amperage for the amps for this pump should be about 125, 135, about there. So the amps for this pump, it's 120. And it doesn't feel very hot. It's hot but not super hot. Now let's compare it with a good pump, and that's 136. So this is a little bit more, but it's not. This is lower, so it seems like this is working more efficiently. 122, so it's not bad. So the motor is not to blame. Something going on here between the coupler, the bearing assembly, and the impeller, and we have a leakage. So I'm gonna open it up and find out what's going on. So the difference in temperature between the pipe that is working fine, this is 171, 172 degrees. So that one was 172, and this is 105. It's a big difference, almost 68 degrees in difference. So definitely something going on with this pump. So we're going to replace the bearing assembly and the impeller, and we shut all the power off. We're going to remove this conduit, flexible conduit. Then we're going to remove the motor and then the bearing assembly, and then we're going to inspect the impeller. But for that, I'm going to I shut the system off, and then every valve I'm going to turn off. And that's because even though I have an isolated valve here, I don't have one valve for the boiler part, right? There's nothing there. So if I don't close all the valves, once I open the system, when I remove my impeller, all the wires are gonna come out. And since it's a seal system, if I open up one end of the system, water wants to go, there's 14 pounds of pressure. So water, if you open up a pipe, the water is gonna go up there. So to avoid that, we're gonna shut all the valves that you see. We're gonna shut them off. Okay. Now this is the supply, so it's gonna shut off that. And then this is supply. That's off. So all the valves that you can, turn them off. I'm gonna remove, I cut the power off, I'm gonna remove the electric. It seems like the screw that holds, there you go. The screw that holds the screw that holds the coupler, it's gone. So the coupler is not turning. So if you see here, the coupler is not holding the shaft of the bearing assembly, so therefore the impeller is not turning. Okay, so we're just gonna replace the coupler or put another screw to hold it to see what happens. Turn. I just turn all the valves back on, and I'm gonna turn the boiler on. So let's wait for a few seconds. It's gonna be calling for heat. The boiler turn on. That pump turn on, the first one. Not the second one or the first one. That's the second one. No noise, no problem. And now we're waiting for this one. And there you go. The pump is very quiet. Before it was banging. So hopefully it gets warm soon. So that's it for today, guys. I replaced the coupler. It was an easy fix. Now the pump is working silently. It's not vibrating anymore like before. I oiled all the pumps and the bearing assembly. I do it twice a year. And I checked that I have 18 pounds of pressure and it's 170 degrees. So everything is working. And this pipe, now it's hot, very hot to the touch. So we fixed the problem. Thanks for watching. See you next video.